Testing, 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 testing. Oh, okay, we got sound. Boom! Good morning, it's 7 a.m. here in New Hampshire. It's, September 9. Groundhog Day Resolution Review Day. Which I have been working on. So the monthly report on like how I'm doing on my yearly goals, which I define every year, and on Groundhog Day, February 2nd, instead of January 1st, because like who's ready to make decisions on January 1st? No one I know. So today we're working on, right now, the 7 a.m. 15-minute morning push. First thing on a project that is important to me. So I guess I'll just like review where we are. We go to display plus chat mode. See if this thing is still working. That's working. So this is my Groundhog Day resolutions notebook. But let's go to the 15-minute ritual notebook and see where we left off yesterday. Listen today, Thursday, September 8th. Got the Jumbotron template ported to the Jade template in the test article, so I now can start playing with it. Question: how do I include CSS with Metalsmith? How do you do that? I have no idea. But let me put some of this stuff away and just get the environment back up. Let's see. I don't think I need these notes at the moment. So what I had to do, I had to pull up a terminal window, and let me shrinken this down to that size. Let me turn this window into, where is it? There. So it's just here in the corner now. Why is it so small? Jam that over there. So I can move this window off screen and get a little bit more screen real estate. Oh, it's changed size. Why? Okay, I think that's still legible. So we got that up. What I need to do here is go to the project. So it's dev. Oh no, it's not dev. It's web, nerd metal. That's where I'm keeping all the source files, and I need to run this build file. I can't type today for some reason. Maybe this desk is a little bit too high. Node build. So fancy stuff appears in the terminal window. And now I need to pull up a web browser and go to localhost 3000 where the local development web server is running. Let's go to test.html, which is the automatically generated file. And look, there's a Jumbotron heading. And there's no content, but this at least is testing that I've got the bootstrap stuff working in here. So it's all responsive and fancy and stuff. So now I also need to pull up the text editor so I can look at stuff at the same time. Let me load the nerd project folder, which is this one. And I don't know what this is. I don't think I need it. There's the pizza article, there's the test article, there's the Jade template. And so now we're ready to do some stuff. Let me go back to my design notebook. What the heck was that? See what we're doing. So I wanted to figure out how to include CSS in Metalsmith. Metalsmith is the static site generator. What it does is it'll take a bunch of files on your computer, it combines them into a website you can upload. It's all static HTML rather than being dynamic like WordPress would be, which uses like a server-based interpreter language to do all its magic. I'm trying to get away from WordPress because it's a security headache and it's increasingly slow and less pleasant to use, at least for the kind of website I think I want now, which is more of an information trove. And I don't want to use Wikimedia on it because I don't like the way I don't like using wikis. Wikis are even worse to use because of their weird formatting language. But I guess I know what I want to do. The focus, how do I include CSS in Metalsmith? So I'm going to set the timer. 15 minutes. Let's go. It's counting down. Now I want to take a nap, but what was the question again? I know, let me pull up the stickies again. Where are they? Stickies. And I don't need these notes, I'll reuse that. What's this? That's a duplicate. I'll make sure this starts floating. So what the question is, how do I include a CSS file in my build process? Well, let's look at it. Like in TestMD or Article Jade, there's another template called Layout Jade. Jade is the page description language. In Layout Jade, this is where I have put all this stuff over here on the left side. And so if I change something here, like Jumbotron, instead of saying Jumbotron heading, say Jumbotron, I save it, this should automatically update there because it's going round trip. So the question was, how do I include... Why do I want to know this? How do I include CSS in Metalsmith? I'm not even sure why I was asking that question. I think it was because I needed to know how to modify the build process. So let's look at the build script. So this is a Node program. It includes a bunch of modules, Metalsmith Markdown, blah, blah, blah. And what it does is it immediately executes this Metalsmith function. And it processes these all in order. So it does this, and then it sets some properties each time. And it applies a bunch of plugins. It's very similar to Gulp, which is the reason why I'm using Metalsmith, as opposed to another popular static site generator like Jekyll. And it's JavaScript and Node-based, which is the technology I've been working with for work projects. So this is a way of getting more familiar with it. So it's applying a bunch of filters in order, and the order is important. So let me look at this. So it's defining a bunch of just modules to be available within the chain here. So all the files in dir name, which is this current directory that scans in. For source content, it applies all this. Use Markdown. So it's applying a Markdown filter to every file it finds in content. Is that right? What's in the content folder? Okay, well, the content folder only has Markdown files in it. That's good. And then it applies templates with this configuration. And applies this Jade with this template directory. Then it writes all to something called docroot. And then when that's done, it launches Express, and then it launches a watch and live reload. And what's this build function error thing? Why is it not indented like this? If there's an error, it just outputs the error. Oh wait, no, I guess actually this defines, I think this defines the sequence of operations to be used, and then build actually executes them. So CSS, what do I mean by this? What other things do I need to do with this? I guess the question is, let's say I have custom, this test MD, let's say there's some custom CSS that goes with that. How do I include that? Can I? I guess I can update this article. Since this extends layout Jade, maybe I can just add another style sheet to it. Let's try it. So if I just do HTML head link, I think that'll add to it. But do I need to make this block thing? Maybe I had to do block head. Let's see if that still works though. Okay, I haven't done anything there, but now if I do block head, will this replace the entire thing? It probably will. And everything will break. Block head. Oops, that's strange. Let's say style sheet, href. What would the href be? Is relative to this folder? Let's see if we where that goes. Let's get rid of all this other junk. Does this replace the whole thing? Oops, we have an error here over in Jade. Article Jade extends layout block link unexpected test blow. You can use tabs or spaces, but no, there's that. Oh. Okay, so it looks like it overwrote the entire block there. If I remove it, it comes back. So probably what I need to do instead of doing block head, maybe I can introduce another block block styles, or block links. Actually, let's try this. Block styles, and is this using tabs? Yeah. Style. Not sure how the indenting works. Let's see if that still works. It seems to work. Is it still actually operating though? It is, okay. So maybe now with this block styles thing, insert or more styles. So this is an overridable block. So now if I have a block styles, and let's save that. Oops, what's this? This is getting me that stupid. Convert indentation to tabs. This is still reporting. Okay, so it's still working. So now if I do block styles, blah. I should be able to put my link in here now. Or I can override the style. Style.body, what did I put over here? If this is working the way I think it is. Block styles. See if we can override this to padding 4em. Seems to work. What if I remove it? It's defaulting back to it. So let's try to put our link back in. So it looks like link. We can probably do a JavaScript thing too. Block scripts. Let's call this block extra styles. And we'll call this one extra scripts. Page meta. So I'm putting in places where I can insert extra styles, extra scripts. I'm sure this is the right way to do it, but just see what happens. So extra styles, if I want to have my link Rails style sheet href. href, let's call it CSS article CSS. And I think if the default folder is the current directory, I guess it could be in the same folder. Or we can create a CSS folder. Let's try that new folder. CSS. And let's make a new style sheet in here. Article CSS, and let's make the background body background color. Let's make it like gray, just to see if it's doing anything. So this would go in here, and that's going to be called article CSS. So if this works, then I'm thinking it should do that. No? I see changes happening here, I think. If I save this, I have this, two files reloaded. I'm not seeing extra styles being affected. Let's take a look at the source code here. Or actually not the source code. Let's look at, put down there. Actually, it looks like it's lost some of the padding. Extra styles, extra scripts, extra styles, extra scripts. Yeah, I did lose the padding. think this block probably should be here. Global styles, extras. Page, oh, that was a fast 15 minutes. Should I do another 15? Yeah, I just kind of want to get to closure on this. See if we can get this article CS thing to load. So let's look and see whether or not this is even included in there. So in the head, do we end up loading our extra styles? Where's the body? It's trying to load. There's another style sheet. Does it exist? It doesn't look like it exists. There are some errors. Failed to load resource, localhost, CSS, article CSS. That's probably because I had to update the build script, I'm guessing. Source content. Like, I guess the question is like, so source content is doing all this stuff. Destination Docker. Can I have multiple sources? Multiple sources, Metalsmith. And multiple pipelines. How do people do this? Oh, is this what collections is for? I think they call it done to signal the end of each branch pipeline. Done. The root pipeline. Oh, that's... So this is a how do you use Metalsmith question. So how do you have groups of technical documents? Group files together like blog posts. Okay, I think I'll put this off until tomorrow. At least I've defined what I've done is I've defined some ways of adding extra content to the main template. Fri Sep 09. Defined blocks, extra styles, and extra scripts that can be overridden in layout template or layout Jade by extenders, e.g. article Jade. However, not sure how to copy the CSS files into the doc root. So the question, how to handle more complex source directories, or how to handle multiple source directories with different processing needs in Metalsmith. That's the question. And the question is for tomorrow. But that's what got done today. So, what time is it? It's 7:25, 25 minutes. Let's see, so, you know, I would have liked to have resolved this question, but I resolved something. And now I can move on to the next project. This has been going on since when? August 8th? It's been a month of little tiny changes. Probably this is the sort of project that I could have, you know, if I'd really been motivated and put my mind to it, maybe figured it out in like a day, you know, instead of like 30 days. But this is surprisingly sustainable. What I'm hoping is that this 15-minute a day thing, I can do this for like multiple projects at once, and related projects especially that use the same technology may benefit more from this. So this is not a project that has any kind of deadline on it, but it's a project I eventually would like to get done because it's related to some of my community building goals. But yeah, so something got done. So the rest of today, there's some programming work I want to do. I got something working late last night that's exciting on the paying work. I need to go to the printer and see the prototypes for the full-size ETP pads. So I think they're open at 8 or 9, so I can go pretty soon. Maybe some house painting. I also want to get a sandwich today at the Vietnamese sandwich store that opened up recently. Maybe head down to the mall. There's a Turkish bazaar that's there that I'm not sure how long they're going to last because it's such an unusual store. So I want to get some of these anti-evil eye ward beads that are there. And then rebuilding my HDMI signal path so I can stream from multiple HDMI sources on the PC, which now has a capture card on it, which should result in higher quality streaming of fast-moving video. That's kind of what's on my mind. I mentioned painting. Continuing to clean up the living room, you know, to get, you know, this place in shape soon. There's plenty of stuff to do, so I'm kind of excited about how the day is going to go. So anyway, that's the morning. Thanks for watching. Hope you're working on some cool projects. Would love to hear about them. Come by the chat room and hang out and do some work on something that's fun or interesting or stalled. So have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.